So most of you might know that I'm really into designing experiences that help people have a better time. We've worked in like tourism, we've worked in health, we've done some really interesting things, and I didn't use the word perfect, that got added, so they're pretty good. Now, one of the things that you hear a lot about, particularly at conferences, is about AI and how AI means so many different things to everyone. Some people actually think that it can do everything. And most of us realize it kind of looks what's on the slide deck. It kind of just does little things. But it depends on how you use it. So today we're going to go through some of my favorite images to help open up your mind so you can start thinking about storytelling, thinking about how you could be using this, because it's kind of where we're at right now. So this is one of my favorite places to go to. It's Yango. It's an hour and a half north of Sydney, Lower Hunter Valley. I love this photo because it is so inland, right? But that fog makes it look like where the water was 30,000 years ago. And where we're standing to take this photo is this famous Aboriginal rock. It's twice the size of this room, and carved in stone are the laws of the land. So as visitors would come to this area, they would have to meet on this rock first and then be welcomed in. And carved in stone are the rules. Animals you can eat, animals you can't. Things you're allowed to do, things you shouldn't, where fresh water is, and if you're a lady, there's actually birthing caves not too far away. So it's kind of like no one knows it's there, but it's so powerful and so important. And that's the crux of storytelling. We look at these tiny little pieces, these carved in the stone, but you're met by someone who then shares that story with you. And that's what we're trying to work out is how do we use data? How do we use systems? And how do we get a story told to people that resonates to them when they arrive? So I'm pretty private. I don't actually usually share a lot. I boom a bit. And I'm a designer, a creator, and a maker. I love stories, always have, always will. Now, this is what Yango looked like last year. Doesn't look like that at the moment. I think most of the world knows that this whole part of Australia just burnt. So, according to the Dreamtime, that rock is more significant than Uluru to the Aboriginals, the Indigenous of this area, because that's where their Dreamtime character stepped off Earth and into the spirits. And after he created all the rocks, all the rivers, all the caves in the area, he also handed down the laws of the land and the culture of the people, what you're allowed to do. And that's why that mapping rock is so powerful. And that rock is so important to them. I didn't want to show devastation, but it is pretty bad. And this leads into one of the areas that we've been focusing on from about this time last year. If people had better information, would they make better decisions? And would those decisions have a better outcome? I kind of feel the answer is yes. So we've been working with different services, emergency services, and we started looking at what if we could actually capture information that's on body-wearable cameras on the emergency services? What if we could use user-generated content that's been captured by everyone who's there? Like our whole summer, every story, every page, every website you went to was full of devastating photos. They were so powerful and impressive, but they were scary. Now, if we could do that, then when someone logs onto an app like Fires Near Me for New South Wales, that's the one you use. If you were using it in New South Wales, it kind of looked like only New South Wales was burning. Because, Victoria, you're different. You got to use your own app. Like, don't be on the border. It's kind of strange that way. But we could actually then serve messages. So you click on it and it shows you exactly where you are, and you could be making a decision. Do I come? Do I go? What do I do? Where do I go? We could overlay third-party data, traffic, what roads are closed. And it could show photos, videos, images that are real right at that moment. Last night, at dinner drinks, there was this nice guy, Wes you here? He was down at Bateman's Bay. He was there with his family. His family kind of knew better because they saw the warnings and they said, let's go. He walked out. God, come on, the wind's not blowing. Bateman's Bay got done. They left, they were safe. But he was one of those people that needed to be able to see it. Doesn't have to be a video, but you just need to be able to see images at the end of your street, at the next block, around the corner or so. My sister-in-law lives right near here. The week before, or the 3 days before the fire came through, all around their property, we were there evacuating. It was a beautiful day. There was no smoke, there was no smell, there was no threat, no fear. It felt good, but we're using the app and we knew that the fire was coming. So these are some of the things that I just wanted to open your mind to about why. Because if we can do these sort of things, this was the morning after that last shot. I found a little bit of green. It rained for a couple of hours that night, and a little bit the day before, obviously. And there's an insect on there. Things are coming back. It'll get better again. It'll be fine. Now, I love my motorsport. And one of the things I want to use in this instance is that sometimes, and pretty much I think nearly all of us, we over-tech things, right? Try to make things too complicated, too difficult, really too early. So this is from the Bathurst 12-hour last weekend, and that's the winning car. But one of the things I love about Bathurst is it's a 12-hour race, which is a really long time. It's 6 kilometres and a bit, which is a really long track, and it takes 2 and a bit minutes per lap, which is so a lot happens in that time. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we had some sort of like AR device on my phone? And every time a car goes by, I could go, oh, and then I could see who it is and who the driver is, because each car has 3 or 4 drivers, what lap they're on, what place they're doing. And I was thinking, oh, that would be cool. Wouldn't it be great if someone built that? This year, 3 little LED digits. So simple. It's just sitting on the car. So with your storytelling, with your tech, don't try to overthink it and go too far. Just look for the simple start. That was so easy. So at the moment, he's coming 5th. And then it flicks in a sec and shows 3 letters of one of those 3 guys' names. So every time it goes past you, you know who it is, and you know where he's coming. Problem solved. The other thing that we like is with tourism is we were invited to go up north, and it was very, very special experience with National Geographic guy. And one of the things about up there is that they have these sayings, and this is, I think, applies to all business sayings as well. On day 1, right, you get there and the water looks so beautiful. You just want to swim. You'll probably live. Day 2, you're a 50-50 dead. Day 3, you are 100% eaten. Because they're there watching and they're waiting. You can't see them. And there's millions there's a large amount of them. The ones that aren't out in that water are getting ready for handbags. And they are. So everything in the water there can eat you. And I think that's like our businesses and the way we look at that we're telling our stories, right? So if we don't do anything, not much is going to change and we don't get in the water. If day 2 and you're just trying to step in, you're going like 50-50, nothing's changing, we'll be okay. But if you don't change, you're eaten. If you want to take a shot, this is the screen. This Bitly has all the videos we've curated and crafted for you so you can have a look at. It's got, grab that one, and I'll put it up again at the end. So why do we need to do this? Why did we think we needed to be able to work out how to pull stories together really quickly? It's because automation has been getting better and better and better. Like, who went down and saw Adobe downstairs? Oh, good, we got a couple. Okay, they weren't really talking about their marketing suite. They were talking about their creative suite. But their marketing suite is so incredibly powerful. Then you've got the other end of town with the big boys like IBM and Salesforce, all the way down to MailChimp. So you can now design these beautiful journeys for emails to be going out. And brands have been doing this really well. But the visuals don't really change. They're still serving up the same persona. So when you go out and do a shoot and you video things and you put it all together and you hand over 30 seconds of clip, usually you've got like a terabyte of clip that no one ever sees. We started looking at it and thinking, that's a massive waste. What if we could take some of that and then compile it so it's right just for you, or a bit of a different story for you? And we worked with this hotel group, and as the stories become better, we're trained to lean into stories right from birth. We want to learn more, we want to hear more, but now we've got these really cool devices in our hands, we flick really fast. So if it doesn't catch your eye really quickly, it's gone. Your message has been missed because people are moving through so fast. So your visuals have to be really impressive. So what if you're staying at this hotel and they know that you're coming in through on your booking that you're flying Qantas, and this popped up on your booking app and said, with that subliminal message, because you don't have to say you're flying with Qantas because they know they are, but it kind of looks like we're so close, Qantas parks in our lobby. It's powerful. So this hotel, they did 50,000 unique videos per month. Most guests got a different one every day. 300 guests would arrive every day. And we started doing things about talking about the guest, and then we realized, you know what, they know who they are, they don't know who we are. So we designed this little green screen. It's small. She can touch it with one hand, she can touch the smart device with the other hand, and all she needed to do, what we worked out was, what's the core story that person needs to hear? Oh, it's, hey, your room's ready, come and check in. Or, looking at the register and working out the roster of when you're about to arrive, who's going to be on front reception? And then they tell them their name. Hey, I'm Nathan. So good that you're going to be coming staying with us. I'm on reception today. Look for me. I'll check you in. And it starts to humanize the experience. What if you started looking at the guest knowledge, information that you've already got from them, and say you're someone like a Luxury Escape? Every time you use those apps and you start making a tentative booking, or you made a booking and it says, how many adults? 2. How many kids? 2. And it pops up, you might notice, what are the ages of the kids? Right? So then once they've made the booking and and you get that kind of extra information, you can now actually change all of your ads or all the content that person is seeing through your app or your messages, so that, hey, it's a mum and a daughter. So show pictures of mums and daughters. Not 2 guys, not a family with 4 kids, because it's not relevant at all. Since I was a kid, I don't know why, but I've always used this phrase of being the power of we. And I feel strongly that the connections you make this last few days, the people in the room, the meetups you go to, it's the power of people around you that help shape your knowledge, help shape your boundaries, what you're doing and how you're thinking. So these are my 3 favorites. You got the founder of Sydney Design Thinking here in the front row. Hey, Ben. It's absolutely fantastic. Sydney Videotech, because we work in video, I know I need to be amongst the smartest guys, smartest people working in video who are openly sharing. You don't get that when you do a business meeting. You don't get that really when you do a lunch. You get that when people come together like now, and then we go off and we have drinks for 4 or 5 hours, which is really soon. The videos and stories that we do aren't here to replace the hero's journey in cinematic. This is not going live to Netflix and the like. It'd be really cool though if we could do how they do their trailers and what's on for this weekend, and it was personalized to you and just snippets all the time. That'd be neat. So the other part of this is, how do you use the stories so that other people want to come and be with you? So one of our friends who runs a safari in Africa said to me, mate, I really want more people. I want more people to come and stay with us. And we're like, wow, do you really want to? Because you can only take so many, right? Don't you just want better people? Wouldn't it be cool if her friends came? Can you imagine being her? And the tour guy takes the photo of you looking like that and then gives it to you and has it all ready for you when you get back to the hut. and it's in all the social formats ready for you to post, and you look like an Insta champion, all your friends now would like that experience too. So no, he doesn't need heaps of traffic now. He's got her friends. And that's where we're at, right? So you either fight for, getting anyone and everyone and you're bustling in and around, or you find the moments that matter. And this is where a little bit of augmented, where, a little bit of human thinking, design thinking, user experience, start looking at the journeys. What does it look like and where do you fit in? When do you actually need to show up? But there's so much going on, right? You've got so much text, content. You've got to get this campaign out. I don't know what I've got, where I've got it. Someone else, we used a bunch of different agencies and she left. So we're now using this agency, so we can't use that footage anymore. And you've got all these problems. So we've got to kind of try and find a way around this, because the more you get and the more data you get, it creates a shit ton of work. So you need a system. And what we're looking at was, I came up with this concept. It's actually like really long ago. I did this 4 years ago, almost to the day, February 2016. And I started talking about, I do like whiteboards. How do we capture and what do you got? How can we compile? What do you got? What system or automation have you got that's going to pull this together and distribute it? What is it going to look like? How does it feel? Can people use it? And can we manage it? What are the results going to look like? And so this was a potential innovation that I never patented because that stuff costs a lot. And we were working with IBM, and it's called the Universal Behaviour Exchange. That's their product. But we started looking at these cognitive APIs, but just call them red and green lines. That's a little bit of info coming in and out of my stickmen, socials, kind of like where you live, what you do, what devices you access their app on. The Q is obvious and a little tail. How you travelled, and what the weather is like here in Melbourne or in Sydney or wherever you're going. So how, what do we need to know about that? What did you eat? All of these tiny little things, what the flight was like, which hotel you're staying in, and what's on in the city that you're going to that you might like. And if we could grab tiny instances of those at any moment that a comm needed to go out, you could almost shape a perfect marketing communication. The idea was to try and humanize it, make it predictive so it kind of worked itself, because I kind of look like the whole world, we're kind of all a little bit insecure. Right? So I came up with these phrases, and I'm sure heaps of others have too, but we're kind of selfish. We're all a little bit scared, and most of us are a bit stupid. Like, where are our drinks tonight? Over this way. No, the group. I only just registered out there. So what could we do with this? So we started looking at it, and the green boxes remain the same. And we used traditional storytelling storyboards and started looking at, okay, so if we started crafting things that were similar to lots of people, we could just put them in the can, and then we could work on just tiny elements that would actually create that personalized part, something that's unique to that person's story. This is my favorite example. We did an onboarding for a university college. Every kid got a unique story told to them. It was done in partnership with Adobe, and there were roughly 1 million variable storylines. It was compiled on action, on data points that are really simple. Because you've enrolled, we know your name, we know what campus you're going to, we know what faculty you're in, what course you're doing. So we started working out what would make these kids feel good in an onboarding. Well, what if we showed the path that you walk along to get to your faculty in the B-roll? What if we showed, in the part that talks about your course, the actual classrooms you'd sit in? And what if it was told to you by a kid who was 1 year ahead of you in your faculty? And it was done in like an Instagram style with cam straight in their face, just chatting. Hey, I hear you got an offer. You're doing this. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, let me show you around. It's real and authentic, and it's fast, and it's not that tricky to do. It kind of is, but it's... Once you've done it once, it gets so much easier. These videos are on that slide, on that page. She's one of the main stars. And when we interviewed her at the end, she actually broke down and cried. She felt it was one of the best things she's ever done because she hated school, never thought she needed to go to secondary education. No one in her family ever had. It was more important to her uncle and her family that she went through and got a further education. And she felt that if other girls saw stories that she told, perhaps they would consider and take the offer and they would come too. Hans, he was fabulous. He's in there as well. He's just got so much energy. So we did like a little bit of agenda, a little bit of a culture. We added a little bit of extra into it and then tried to work out on the personalities. So each of you got a series of clips and then we looked at the positive or did you engage? Kira, she was actually the most popular because a couple of the kids couldn't make it. So we used her quite a bit. She's now like the face of the university because of the campaign. She's really powerful. What did it look like? Bloody Excel. Oh, it was off. Well, not Excel, it was Google Sheets, so we could collaborate nicely. And we had to be so particular, really get everything tight, looking at the times, working out the points of seconds that we needed of each clip. We made dashboards, I didn't, that could show the brand at any moment what we were up to, because we actually say the kid's name in the video. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I didn't realize there was like 6 different ways you could write Muhammad. They all kind of sound similar. But in the script, it says the name and it spells the name, but the voice works. So when you have a look at those, you'll get a feel. So we got a collaborative group of people to like say the name loudly together. So we lost a little bit of the phonetics and get it just right, make it faster and quicker. This is what it looks like now. This tool is so powerful that you can actually see the clips in order, in parts of seconds. You can see where the outputs are, and this will actually now publish to a live broadcast on Channel 7 or 9. These tools are now available in broadcast quality. So an example of my favorite one is coming right up. Actually, it's right now. This is my dad. Dad turned 70 in December. We had this opportunity to go north with this guy. He's way cool. Matt Wright. He's, all of us and most of the world, he's known as the Outback Wrangler. Got a TV show on National Geographic. If you're in the US, though, he is the monster croc wrangler because it's got to be bigger. It's got to be massive. So knowing that I can actually create a TV channel, knowing that we can actually programmatically insert content, we can create whatever we like, I set about designing an experience just for Dad. Because it was his birthday, brothers and I thought, let's surprise him, we'll take him away. We didn't realize that Mum had a surprise for him as well, and he had a surprise for himself as well. He had like the best 70. So we invite him over for an early Sunday dinner. Families all around, grandkids are around, and he walks in. I had subtly placed a couple of 6-packs of the beer that you drink up here in his fridge, and he's like, oh, great. As he walked in, he'd been at work, grabs the beer, we baked a ham. Oh my God, oh, this is great. And every moment, he just kept glancing at the TV because we had chosen a series of small clips, a couple of minutes each clip, that would resonate with him, that he couldn't look away from. That clip is in the drive as well. So then we inserted Matt. And I got Matt to do a quick little face to cam to Dad. So Dad comes in, says g'day, sits down, looking at the TV. Oh, this is great, having his beer. And then out of the TV comes this guy. Whoops, we need audio. Oh, can you back at it? Ready? No? Soon? That's okay. Hey, Rob. I heard it's your 70th. Mate, why don't you and the lads jump on a plane? Actually, I should probably just play him and then I'll act him out. Love you, Matt. You're awesome. Nope, still not. And so what he does is, okay, sorry about this, Matt. G'day, Rob. Heard it's your birthday. What? Got a knife on the hip. Why don't you and...
Come up here and see some of these guys. We might even feed a few while you're up here. The mud crab are good this time of the year. We'll try our luck at catching a barra. I'll take you over Tiwi Islands. We'll get a few barra, a couple of goldies. We'll cook them up on the beach and have a few beers. We'll see you up here next week.
Dad nearly cried. He kind of like went back here. He said some, he kept it quite clean because it's on the clip you can see. But on national telly. Like, yeah, kind of. Now, that took Matt a matter of moments to record. It took a bit of technology and a little bit of augmented intelligence to compile a series of clips. Now, imagine anyone who has an interesting tourist resort or destination, you don't have to have a 5-metre crocodile to bend down and pat to get the effect. It looked cool though. You can really do this. So take this time that you've been here, all the creative people you've met, amp it up. Do something fun next week. Like, come up with something wild and audacious. Just look at it and go, what else could we do? Like, seriously, I was at a Christmas party when I came up with this idea. I messaged him, "G'day, mate, what do you reckon? Could you do this?" "Yeah, sure." And I was ready. The rest of the thinking was us, but that little piece. And it meant so much for Dad. So earlier you heard about data security. You've heard about things like ethics. And you've heard about a whole bunch of different things at either side of the line. These are the moments that I know where we can do good with AI, where we can do good with storytelling because of the visual, the stimulus, the effect that it had on people like Dad. We looked at it and he's just like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. You did this for me." And that's the kind of experience I'd like you guys to think about. How can you do that to your guests, your customers, your students, your patients?